Mr. Men, Little Miss, Police Station. Mr. Forgetful was out for a walk, but he could not remember why. Maybe he was taking his dog for a walk. But then, where was his dog? Had he forgotten it? He returned home, but his dog was not there. It must have run away. So he went to the police station to report his dog missing. PC Helpful was on duty at the front desk. She asked Mr. Forgetful for a description, but Mr. Forgetful could not remember what his dog looked like. He couldn't remember what color it was, nor could he remember its name. "Don't worry, sir," said PC Helpful. "We'll keep an eye out for any stray dogs and let you know." Looking for stray dogs was added to PC Sunshine's list of duties for the day. She was out on foot patrol. As she walked along, she noticed a trail of rubbish. Someone was littering. She followed the trail, which led to Mr. Messy, who was returning from the shops, eating sweets and dropping the wrappers. PC Sunshine put a stop to that and made Mr. Messy pick up his rubbish and put it in the bin. As soon as she had dealt with Mr. Messy, she came upon another offense, a case of bad parking. Very bad parking. PC Sunshine issued Mr. Wrong with a parking ticket. And then, while he was trying to repark, he went round a roundabout the wrong way. Oh dear, he was not having a good day. Another ticket for Mr. Wrong. PC Slow was on patrol in a police car, watching the road with a speed radar at the ready. Suddenly, a car roared past. It was Mr. Rush, and Mr. Rush was in a rush. PC Slow looked at the reading on his speed radar, and you will not be surprised to hear that Mr. Rush was breaking the speed limit. PC Slow set off in pursuit with his siren blaring and his lights flashing. But he was too slow. So slow that PC Sunshine overtook him, on foot. PC Slow radioed ahead, and PC Quick caught Mr. Rush around the next corner. Radios were a vital part of a police officer's equipment, and there was a radio room at the station to keep in touch. There were lots of other rooms in the police station, like the interview room, where they recorded everything that was said to keep as evidence. Mr. Chatterbox was a witness to a crime, and he had been brought in to make a statement. He had an awful lot to say. The officers got through a lot of tea, and biscuits, and recording tapes. There was also a cell at the police station where criminals were locked up. Mr. Rude had been locked up for being rude to a police officer. Sergeant Fussy gave him a very stern talking to before he was released. The police force had lots of different vehicles they could use. There were police cars and motorbikes and bicycles and a helicopter. It doesn't look like Mr. Rude has learned his lesson. There was even a police horse. PC Muddle did not last long as a mounted officer. However, PC Muddle did manage to catch Mr. Mischief, who was up to no good. "I'm going to have to take you down to the station to be interviewed," said PC Muddle sternly. And he did take Mr. Mischief to the station, the railway station. What a hopeless muddle PC Muddle was. Not that PC Scatterbrain was much better. She caught Little Miss Naughty red-handed, painting the town red. "Stop in the name of the law," ordered PC Scatterbrain, blowing her police whistle. Little Miss Naughty took one look at her police whistle and laughed out loud. I'm sure you can see why. A police officer's job was also to assist anyone who needed help. While PC Sunshine was keeping her eyes open for Mr. Forgetful's dog, she was able to help Little Miss Contrary find her way home. And she helped Little Miss Tiny, who was lost in the long grass. And she told Little Miss Late what the time was. And she helped reunite Little Miss Twins when they got separated in a crowd. The crowd was there to see the Queen, who was making her annual visit to Happyland. PC Busy was on protection duty, riding his motorbike in front of the Queen's car to clear the road ahead. He felt very important. Although, a lot less important when he had to look after the Queen's corgis. And then he got all tangled up in the corgis' leads, and they escaped. He tried to catch them, but Mr. Tickle's long arm of the law was very unhelpful. One of the police force's main jobs was solving crimes. Detective Curious and Detective Greedy had been called out to the scene of a burglary at Little Miss Splendid's house. Detective Greedy decided to investigate the fridge. and left chocolate fingerprints all over the house. Detective Curious was not impressed when it came to collecting evidence. "Well, that's curious," said Detective Curious. "There are muddy prints all over the rug. What did you say had been stolen?" "My sausages," said Little Miss Splendid. "My very best sausages." "I think I know who the thief is," said Little Miss Curious, and she followed the prints outside. They led her to the bottom of the garden, where they found the culprits. Detective Greedy pulled out his handcuffs. "It's not handcuffs we need," laughed Detective Curious. "It's paw cuffs." At the end of the day, PC Helpful rang Mr. Forgetful to say that they had found 2 stray dogs. When he got to the police station, Mr. Forgetful followed PC Helpful round to the dog pound. Mr. Forgetful looked carefully at the 2 dogs. What did his dog look like? And then he suddenly remembered something. That he did not own a dog. But I think we know who does own the dogs, don't we?